Ooh, with the announcements.
We get like another article out recently, something like that.
Yeah, I think we do have another article coming out soon. The articles I have written are like done, except there's just one problem in the sense that they're on my computer, which is broken. So I will need to transfer the files over to my wooden PC, and then basically just some editing, and they're ready to upload. So yeah, that's a pain in the ass.
All right, nice.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
we also got like let's see here. Season 21, episode 13, How to Social Engineer INFJs, which is behind me, has been
right,
filmed, and I believe it's actually releasing tonight on early
right.
access, and will be publicly released tomorrow. How to Social Engineer INFJs. I
Mm-hmm.
was told recently when someone reviewed this particular episode, they're like, you know, Chase, is it really just 45 minutes of you complaining about INFJs and then 15 minutes of social engineering? I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, oh, maybe. I don't know. I don't think so. I think there's a lot of meaningful information in there, regardless of me, complaining about INFJs. But I would like to address the INFJ community about this particular episode. While I do admit that I am harder on INFJs more so than any other type, it's on purpose. A lot of people think that I'm hardest on
I can't hear
ENFPs
you now.
or
No,
you can't.
never mind. I can now.
All right.
Uh, I think it's the Discord server.
Hello. We have someone from Korea with us. That's awesome. So, anyway, why am I so hard on INFJs? The reason why is because you guys are like super mega important, if not the most important and necessary for, staving off the doom of our race and
Right.
potentially saving us and breaking new ground, INFJs. So I am, and I'm also your pedagogue according to Socionics, because the ENTP is the pedagogue to the INFJ. So recognize that I am much harder on INFJs than other types for
We
a
have.
reason, and that's why. Wow, that was like loud and like kind
Sorry,
of like, I mean, someone like take away that man's soundboard, right?
I didn't even think it's that loud, but I don't know why. Whatever. Just
Yeah,
put that there.
yeah,
I just gotta
exactly.
make sure. I had to open up the chat and yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
never not open up the chat, right? So anyway, so yeah, we have that episode coming out. So it's gonna be great. We're gonna have some Instagram videos, tiny little videos coming out here very soon as well. And I think for the most part, that's about it. Upcoming episodes, we have season 22, episode 2, which is for email users only. Which, folks, if you haven't gotten our email list, you should probably get on it right now, csjoseph.life. And you can do the email at the top right hand corner of the page, and then look for receiving season 22, episode 1 in your inbox. You can only see that through email, we don't give it out otherwise. And then we have season 17, episode 3 around the corner, the final episode of season 10, which is comparing the INPs. And then we will have season 14, the final episode of season 14 for Patreon Gold, which is the ENFP INFJ Golden Pair, which will also be coming out very soon. So those are the episodes that are due to come out for the podcast and for Patreon. So just make yourselves aware of that. But anyway, let's talk about let's let's talk about like the format for tonight. So basically,
Yeah.
go for it, Jeb. What's the format?
Well, the format is basically you guys are going to send out donations as to who you want typed. The highest donation is going to get typed. So effectively, it's kind of like an auction, except if you bid an amount, you don't get your money back. Realistically, realistically, if you're like this, if the person you've bid for is the second highest, we'll go to them next, provided that they don't get outbid. And we're realistically going to try and get through any significant amount of money which is donated to type. Like, I think the last time we did this, we went for like an hour and a half because people kept donating like $15 to $20. So we just had to
Yeah,
keep typing and typing. So if
yeah,
that happens again, I'm pretty sure we'll do it again. I mean, we're running on time. So that looks good. Steve Wilson, $20 straight off the bat.
Say again?
We just got a donation from Mr. Isaac. He wants Steve Wilson.
Steve Wilson. Who is Steve Wilson? Stephen Wilson.
I have no idea. I'm gonna start looking.
Mr. Isaac, yeah, please, if you have any specific videos in mind, please provide them. So yeah, and by the way,
musician.
An English musician. Fair enough. We'll get down to it.
All right, Steve Wilson interview.
Steve Wilson.
Let's just go full triple movement and jump right into it.
Yep, let's go into it. Musician mode.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Well, you were born in 67, so you were 18 in 1985.
Yes.
I read there were 4 albums that inspired you for this album.
Oh,
So
well,
responding.
many
Okay,
albums, but
that's
there's only 4 in the press release.
Yeah.
If you'd listed them all, it would have been a
Okay.
long press release. Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say responding off the first sentence in an interview.
I know.
So is it true what's
Yeah.
stated in the press release? Pete Gabriel, Kate Bush, Talking Tears for Fears album.
Certainly for, I mean, when I was growing up, there was a tradition of what I call the very progressive or very sophisticated pop record. And what I mean by that, when I use the word pop, some people have a very sort of negative reaction to the word pop these days. For me, pop is the Beatles is pop. That's the quintessential pop group. And
Okay, can I just say, looking at this guy, he kind of just looks like an INFJ. So that's my guess as a visual type.
Fair enough.
I would say.
so for me, pop is a very broad thing. So when I say pop, I mean, it can be anything from, the Beatles to ABBA and everything in between. And for me, the 80s is particularly special because of this era when it was apparently possible to make records which were simultaneously very accessible.
Yeah, he so looks like an INFJ.
Catchy choruses, but at the same time, if you wanted to engage with them at a deeper level, you had great lyrics, great musicianship, great production, great arrangements, great ideas. And those 4 records are good examples of those kind of records. So, to a lesser or greater degree, they had a direct influence. But I think what's more important is I see them as representative of this time.
Seems very movement. Seems
really
TIFE. Seems direct.
Very intelligent, very smart.
I think I might have been onto something with.
You might have, yeah.
Pop music. And it seems to me that is not something we have a lot of in the 21st century.
You said, well, those 4 albums, but there were many more. But let's focus on those 4 albums. There are 3 from 85.
Okay.
Pete, the Soul album, The Hound of Love, and The Color of Spring.
Okay.
Color of Spring. So that's why I.
Yeah, he's pretty responding. He's staying in
the 3 of them were from 85.
So I was thinking you were 18 years old.
He's
then
staying within the context of the question.
What stage were you in music-wise? Did you make music yourself? Did you listen to a lot of music? What?
I certainly was beginning to make music. I'd been making music on and off since I was like 11 or 12 years old, but I think I was beginning to take it seriously as a potential, career path.
I think I was
So
taking
it
it
was very
seriously.
inspiring to me to
Potential
hear that.
career path.
Because I'd grown up in a house
SENI.
where, my father was listening
Just about
to
to say it.
very serious conceptual rock albums like Tubular Bells and Dark Side of the Moon. And my mother, on the other hand, was listening to the great pop music of the 70s, like ABBA and Carpenters and the Bee Gees and all this stuff. So I grew up hearing both of these things and not really having any idea that there was even any difference. To me, it was just great music.
Not
only
really
when
having
you
any
become a
idea,
teenager
not being a
where
difference. It's
musical
low
snobberies
TE,
and musical
very high
borders
TI.
people, tend to put around things. And I still, to this day, find it very difficult to think in terms of music like that.
Yeah.
In borders.
It's not
and
reducing the volume when I speak like I did on your other computer, by the way.
I never understood that. So to me,
I think I got better sound settings now. I figured it out properly when I redid it on this computer.
All right, fair enough.
these records we're talking about were the perfect kind of synthesis of the pop sensibility that I liked and I enjoyed, and the more kind of conceptual rock music, the more sophisticated.
That was abstract.
Rock music that
Talking
I also
about the different kinds of music where they weave together in that regard. It's like he's considering the what if behind the structure of the music itself. It's very abstract.
Right.
do things. So to me, it was very exciting, and it was a kind of signpost of what was possible.
I was thinking, well, what were you doing when you were 18 and listening to yourself? Can you still recall hearing, let's say, the Peter Gabriel album for the first time, or maybe the Kate Bush or the Talk Talk? Is it something that
I can. In the case of Talk Talk and Kate Bush, I can remember.
I can remember. That's direct.
Being in the record store on the day those albums were released, buying
I can remember being in the record store on the day those albums released. That's an SE statement, SENI. He's talking about the memory attached to the physical object of those albums.
Right.
And excitement that you used to get when you bought an album on release day. You know, it doesn't happen anymore, because these days, the idea of going to the record store on a day of release it doesn't have the same magic that it did then, because usually by the time the album's released, everyone's heard it anyway. And in those days, it was still a very exciting thing. And I think probably those would have been some of the first albums I would have bought on CD as opposed to vinyl. Because I remember my father
CD
worked for
as
Philips.
opposed,
Philips,
that's a TI statement. And he's also talking about, the kinds of, vinyl versus, that's an SE statement as well. So SE and I, still seeing it within that quadra. So he's definitely STP, NFJ quadra. He seems direct responding movement. So he's an ISTP or an INFJ basically. So
right, but he does seem more abstract, so I would definitely
does seem more abstract. Need a little bit more evidence on the abstract. You got a different interview, kind of mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, okay. I've sacrificed family for music.
I've made a decision. I'm not going to have a family, and that has meant I've been able to put a lot more.
Oh my god, he's not wearing shoes in this interview. Typical INFJ move.
Well, that was an affiliative statement. The fact that he's talking about family. I've made a decision. So he's aspiring with his ESTP subconscious at the sacrifice of family. So he's taking an affiliative point of view for the sake of pragmatic.
Interesting.
Or into my music and my career.
What I want to do, NI hero.
Right, my family would get in the way. Having a family would get in the way of what I want, so therefore I'm going to cut it out.
Yep.
That's very NISE.
Yep.
And life is short, and you can't do everything. You can't do everything. You have to make decisions.
Oh. What the hell happened there?
I'm still here.
Apologies, my Google Chrome closed for no apparent reason.
All right. Does the best. I think we already typed Hunter S. Thompson, if I remember correctly.
I've sacrificed family for music. Here we go.
And the very process of making a decision is also a sacrifice. If you make a decision, I'm going to be a musician, you've sacrificed all of these other options that could have been available to you. And that happens every day of our lives. Every time we make a decision, we are effectively making compromises and sacrifices too. I'm very prolific. I make a lot of records. I make a lot of music. The reason is I have a lot of time to make music because I don't have a family and I don't have kids. So that in itself is a decision, and in itself that has been a sacrifice.
Right.
To not
it's a TI rationalization.
More affiliated,
some
and that is FETI.
Yeah, it's like an FETI rationalization of why he made the decision for as the foundation of his NI, his want.
Yeah. I've seen enough. This guy's an INFJ. Wow. Nice going on the visual typing there, Jab. So there you have it, folks. Stephen Olson is an INFJ. What's next? What's next in the queue?
I need to bring up your stream really quickly. Hopefully it doesn't burn your ears because I've muted it, I think. No, it didn't. What?
Since we've already... Oh, okay, yeah, we'll do Jordan Belfort then. Thank you, Joshed Up Reviews.
What about Lloyd Evans?
Is that the next one? We haven't done Lloyd Evans before.
Yeah, Lloyd Evans is a $10 one, which came after Steve Wilson.
Okay, let's do it.
Alright, give me a second. So, what do you know about Lloyd Evans?
Nothing.
No, nothing. All right, Lloyd Evans interview leading Jehovah's Witness from door to fact. Mormon stories. Is this the guy?
I have no idea. Is this the correct Lloyd Evans? He said AKA somebody else in the super chat.
An interview with Lloyd Evans. Here we go.
Some information about what's going on. Today, I'm interviewing a fellow YouTuber and friend of mine, Lloyd Evans, who is a prominent activist against cults and religious tyranny, as he puts it.
Religious tyranny. Amazing.
Okay, so that's the interviewer talking. So that's the context of the video. I've just skipped somewhere in the video, and I think this is Lloyd Evans speaking right now.
Pretty much throughout the organization's history, they've been saying, "Oh, Armageddon's just around the corner," and when Armageddon comes, it will destroy you, me. Sorry to.
What they're saying, isn't that a TE
Yeah.
statement?
It will basically.
It's a
destroy
TE or an SE statement.
Jehovah's Witness. And the earth will then be populated by the survivors of Armageddon, who will be Jehovah's Witnesses, and they will live initially for a 1,000-year period. Then Satan's going to be let loose one more time to kind of filter out any ones that slip through the net who are evil, and then it will just be an eternity of bliss on the earth. That's in a nutshell what Jehovah's Witnesses believe.
Yes. Am I right in thinking that
Seems pretty
after
direct
having read the
to
first
me.
chapter,
It's what they believe. I'm pretty sure that's TE because it didn't seem to be.
Well, his
connected
interviewer
to-
said they believe. It's not what he's saying.
Right.
of your book, you had
this is the
a
interview
short
now.
taste of
Yeah.
Armageddon, didn't you, as a child? Am I right in thinking that?
That's right, yeah. In fact, you came very kindly to a Faith to Faithless event in London. It was at the King's College, and I related that story there, and it's also in my book of how when I was a child, I had an experience that most Jehovah's Witnesses don't get to have, and that's that I actually experienced
I
what
had
it
an
was
experience,
like before
SINE.
the Great
SIE,
Tribulation to start. And the Great Tribulation is essentially the prelude to Armageddon, or at least it was going on in my mind, because Jehovah's Witness families have what's called family worship. So it's essentially like a group indoctrination session that's just for the family, where the parents will, do more tailored instruction for their children. And my father decided it would be hilarious and important to fake a phone call with one of the elders in our local congregation.
TEFI.
And I obviously was intended
All right.
to listen in on the phone call, and the phone call went something like, "Okay, so the Great Tribulation started. The entire congregation is now on the run, and we need to meet in Macclesfield Forest, where we're going to hide from
Sounds
the
a little
authorities as
control-oriented.
they're looking for us." So I was, once the
Talking
phone call
about
ended,
the
I had
Jehovah's
this
Witness
kind of panic.
systematic.
And he's also recalling a past experience. I think
Yeah,
that could be a
yeah,
SIE.
it is SINE, yes.
Look on his face, and he said, "You better go and pack your things." So
And the interesting thing is, as he's recalling this past experience, this SINE experience, you can see that the intentions of other people are coming into this past experience he's talking about. Like, you
Right.
can see the disgust he has for the intentions of his father for deceiving him into tricking him. that the
Right,
world is ending.
right. He's only been
Don't get
speaking
me
what
wrong.
is. I'm going to go with concrete so far, because I haven't really seen much abstract. He's talking about abstract concepts, but he's not really talking about what if. He's just mostly saying, this is what happened, this is what happened, this is what's happening, etc.
Well, I mean, he is responding to an interviewer, so I wouldn't say he's concrete absolutely yet. I think we need to get a little bit further in the video.
Sure,
But
we'll
let's
see
keep
more.
going.
I ran upstairs, absolutely convinced that it was the Great Tribulation, that Armageddon was upon me.
Okay, that sounds
And
great.
That's a TEFI statement. Absolutely convinced.
And so I grabbed the binoculars and the penknife and the torch and stuffed that into the rucksack, assuming this would be useful. And also grabbed, my Bible. I grabbed a Revelation Climax book, which I'm actually
Super
holding
SINE.
since it's only right in front of my bookshelf. This is the Revelation
Control.
Climax book that was released in 1988. And it
Direct.
essentially
He just
details
initiated a new idea, talking about the climax book,
in the-
direct initiating
in the
control.
run up to Armageddon. I assumed it would be a useful guide to what was going on. And of course, only when I ran
This
back
guy's like a clone of Benji.
my family.
SI again.
Yeah, like he's initiating, but because he's control, people just think he's introverted or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm Ben Shapiro.
Outside, did I realise, there's all the huge...
I was talking about Benji Rackner, actually.
Oh! Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Same type, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But although there was a comedic element, there was also a very serious element to it. It was intended to show me that Armageddon could strike at any moment, and it was a lesson I never forgot.
Yes. Yeah, that was one of the things that really stuck with me is something that
Yeah, I'm
can
going
be
to say
played off
concrete
as
again.
humorous, and you can look back on it and see the funny side, but there is certainly an element of something quite unnerving about the thought that there are people who believe that there will literally be an Armageddon. This isn't some kind of poetic metaphor. This is a literal occurrence. It's almost...
Yeah. Even though he could have made a bunch of pragmatic arguments,
Yeah.
he seems to be. He seems that. I mean, he's had plenty of opportunity to make pragmatic arguments. However,
He hasn't. Everything is very proper. It's super proper. The propriety is huge.
Right. He seems to predicate everything on that it wasn't right, or it was unfair, or that it was unjust that these things happened to him.
That is an affiliative point of view.
Right.
I'm not seeing pragmatic here at all.
Yeah.
Odd to think that people actually believe this stuff. Having given a basic overview of what the Jehovah's Witnesses believe, and I know that they're also creationists by definition. We were just talking about. But another thing you speak about in the book is you say it may seem ridiculous that certain people can believe this kind of stuff, but when you think about it on a sort of in depth, there are plenty of reasons why people can adopt these beliefs through faults that
We have
aren't
not
really
done Tony Hawk.
their own. I don't know if you could sort of
Tony
expand
Hawk.
a bit on that. I think you know what I'm getting.
Yeah. No, that's true. Well, let me take for an example, my mother. I talk about her a little bit in my book. She's no longer
So
alive,
reference
and
point
that
of
was
an
her
example
death.
of his mother's a TE statement.
Wow.
It's an SI
I mean,
statement.
that's direct as hell, and it seemed a bit
Yes.
concrete. She's no longer alive.
And it was initiating, and it was concrete. Yeah. So I think we have all the evidence we need at this point, Mr. Jab. Lloyd Evans, ladies and gentlemen, is an ESTJ.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. There you go. There we have
Alright,
it.
who's next?
Hitler is not an INFJ. Hitler is not an INFJ. Stop telling people that, please. It's not true. He's not an INFJ.
All right. So we got 25 donation here.
He's not an NF.
Matt Kerekes.
Matt Kerekes.
Matt Kerekes or something.
Matt Kerekes. He's from Boston then.
Interview. He kind of looks like a Freddie Mercury wannabe. Oh, Matt Kerekes on fitness and health. Let's check this out.
I was like 120 pounds until my junior year, and all my friends.
Okay, apparently my internet has gone full potato.
I didn't play any sports in high school, but all my friends were like big football wrestlers, you know.
Yeah.
And I just got kind of sick of being the small guy.
Yeah. No. Well, how do you keep up with it? Like, I
That's
see you
an
got
SE
some
statement.
like
Sick of being the small guy, also talking about his friends being involved in sports. It really wasn't mostly about his experiences, about their experience. That's an SE statement.
Right, and he seems to be using them as a totem to remember the bad experience.
Exactly.
So-called. Like, it's not the fact that he had a bad experience, it's just that he remembers it off his other people.
He kind of seems a bit movement as well. I'll put that there. What tick mark for movement?
Alright.
constantly, like when you're in tour, you're in the studio. Like, how do you keep that going?
I just try to lift every day. You know,
Yeah.
I lose weight really fast. Like, I'll go home. I'll be home for like 3 months.
Okay, visual typing. I think I'm gonna.
INFJ?
No. I think this guy might be ESTP, but that's just a guess.
Okay. He
I'm not
seems
too confident.
INFJ-ish to me so far, but and that was a TIFE statement as well. I'm definitely thinking STP NFJ Quadra.
Yeah.
Months, and I'll be doing really well, and then I leave for tour, and I'll lose like 20 pounds.
On tour?
Yeah, on tour.
Okay.
A lot of it's like water weight and shit.
Yeah.
But like a lot of it is just not eating right, because
Constantly moving.
you always gotta be somewhere at a certain time. So like eating is always like McDonald's or whatever.
Yeah.
We just had Carl's Jr. for the first time, and it was fucking awful. So you're just eating shit like that all the time, and it sucks. And so like every time I come home from tour, it's like I'm like restarting everything I worked for. It's kind of frustrating, but you gotta do it. I'd rather keep going than just give up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, do you have like dietary restriction, like things you can't eat, or like on tour, or like things you're like, yo, I gotta cut this out, or even at home?
No, not really. At home, I actually, because I used to be a firm believer in eat whatever you want, just because I'm naturally skinny, so I can kind of get away with eating like bullshit all the time.
Metabolism kind of type of thing.
Yeah, but then I start, as I get older, I start reading more about like cholesterol and shit, and it kind of makes me nervous.
Freaks you out a little bit.
And like a lot of people are dying because of heart problems and shit, so I'm like, all right, everything I eat now is clean, and I
A
just
lot of
feel
people
better.
are dying because of heart problems. That's an
like,
affiliative statement.
I used to like eat like
SE statement. I could also say FE as well. Because that's like not even accurate. Like it's not even remotely accurate.
Right.
Do you really think like? Are you seeing any informative here? I'm not.
No, it's all direct.
Yeah, I'm seeing direct.
I mean, I definitely could see.
Hopefully, you got another interview.
Yeah, I can find one. I do see a lot of. I do.
Let's
see
keep going with the current one. I'm just saying we'll need another one. Yeah.
30 pizza rolls every day, Pizza rolls are badass, but I don't do it anymore. But and I just feel better.
That was initiating.
So it's just about living a little healthier lifestyle, So that, and combined with exercising, I box and shit, and I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like
direct, I do this, I do that, but it does seem a bit concrete to me.
Yeah.
Which is odd.
Like last year with I played in a band called Citizen with our bassist, and like just that on top of eating well, lifting weights, doing all the cardio from the mixed martial arts and shit, it's just like you just feel so good. If I'm like sitting around doing nothing all day, and then for like a Citizen set where I'm basically like yelling for an hour straight. Yeah. I'm sure
Dexter's correct when he said I read it and it's true. Definitely sounds TE.
Did you influence maybe even like your band or surrounding people, tour managers, any of those guys to kind of get in on it?
I think I got into our drummer Jake of Citizen, his head. He works out pretty regularly now. He might have worked out before because he's always been in pretty good shape, but I know that he's a little more into it now. Eric. He's always lifted weights with me. Our guitarist Ryland.
That's an SE and I statement. That's two of them.
Yeah, he keeps making them. Like he keeps talking about other people's experiences.
Yeah.
Really good habits, and he like progresses so much, and then he just quits.
Yeah.
And he'll quit for like a year and a half, and then he'll get back into it, and he'll make so much progress, and he just quits. I don't know why he wouldn't just keep doing it, but we've been on this tour. And
complaining that he quits is an SE statement. I'm
got
seeing a lot of concrete. This guy is not abstract.
I think I might have been on point with the STP.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Let's keep going. He might be calling transition, which is why we're gonna need like another cross-checked interview.
I mean, as we're listening to this guy, I'm looking for another one.
And with me right now on this Anthony Green tour lifts, our drummer Lurka, he raps. Check him out. SoundCloud, Lurka, right? Lurka, right?
Yeah.
That's it. He only squats.
Lurka,
which is
right?
crazy.
Verifying with TI.
Like squatting. Yeah. The average gym goer, but he squats, and he squats nice. Real nice. Our tour manager is pretty big.
Yeah,
our,
so initiating
like a
there.
stocky guy. My girlfriend, she's really strong. She squatted 265
awesome.
which is awesome. She
Yeah.
deadlifted 265, and I don't know how much she never benches. She only likes to squat and deadlift, but
Pragmatic.
so I feel like it rubs off, and you know, you're just like, you're not doing too much on the road anyway. So
Yeah,
like when you just have all this downtime, and I have these interchangeable weights, like why wouldn't you use them? I think everybody just kind of thinks
why
like
wouldn't
that.
you use them? That's an SE
around,
statement.
you know?
As soon as the
That-
guitarist Nick though, won't
That
back
SE
down.
is strong.
He doesn't care at all. He just likes to. He eats like shit and drinks pop all the time, and he's content with it.
The
And
opposite, yeah.
If that's his thing, you know, it's his thing.
Yeah. Well, I noticed like on some tours like that we're on, or that I see other bands on as well.
Yeah, definitely initiating.
Like, can you make an argument for ESFP though? Like, can you? Because I don't know, man. I'm on the edge for that one. I'm on the edge. Definitely, definitely doing the SP thing. Yeah, like, I can almost make an argument for an ESFP. Yeah, definitely. I can make an argument for it.
Okay, right. I mean, that's the hard thing about ESFPs and ESTPs. They're both pragmatic.
Yeah, they're both pragmatic. They're both concrete. They're both interest-based. It's the same temperament, right? But I don't know. Like, he's not control, man. He's super initiating. I'm not seeing control.
Yeah, but I don't see informative.
I don't know, man. I almost do. I'm on the edge of being like, this guy might be his starter statement, because his FETI, you know, like there was at least one very strong TE statement that I found. So I was just like, we know he's an SENI user, and we know he's a sensor, right? So if you're a sensor and you're an SENI, you're automatically an ESTP or an ESFP just based off of that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like we got it between those two right now. So
okay, so to differentiate them, it'd be basically direct versus.
It's basically direct versus formative, control versus movement.
And movement control, yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I could argue that I do see the argument for movement over control, but at the same time, I do also see the argument for direct over informative.
Well, let's pop. Let's get a different interview and come back to this one.
All right.
He just sounds so ESFP to me, and he's like, "Oh, I read it. That's what it has to be." Like, that's not. Because his FE statements that he was making were kind of seemed like a little lower FE. You know what I mean? Not like a higher FE. And you know, he's like, "Hey, what are you guys doing? What do you know?" So, and he used like only one reference point statement so far, but like he's keeping it in the SE realm. He's not really talking about TE that much. He's not really talking about how I'm such a good person, etc. either. Like, it's a different conversation. So let's try a different interview, see if we can extract a little bit more.
Dude, so many boogers.
Skip ahead.
A month and a half after we just hit the road, and the internet was on our side at the time, and it was an awesome tour. I mean, a good show was like 60, 70 people, but
that's TE statement.
On our first full US,
talking about the amount of people that are there, that's a good like show. That's an FI statement.
Here and there, playing to nobody. We played a
few runs here and there playing to nobody. That's also a TE statement. And that's also kind of informative.
In New Jersey once called the Meat Locker. Okay. And
it was called the Meat Locker. It's a TE statement and an SE statement.
I think that might have even been informative because he grinned as he said that, as if there was some underlying.
Right. There's some added subtext there, right?
But I didn't get it.
Yeah, it seemed like he was cognitive transition in like the last interview, which would make him direct because he's using his subconscious a little bit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So.
All right, let's keep going.
We sound checked. There's nobody there. Nobody.
We sound checked.
The room is actually empty. We sound checked, and then the sound guy leaves.
Oh my!
Leaves the room, and so we're
and the sound guy abandoned us. That's SE statement.
That was pretty funny. So we did
informative. That's pretty funny. It's TE.
4 or 5. I'm just kind of throwing numbers out. like
Initiating.
really bad tours like that. And then we
4 or
caused some
5 bad
traction
tours
on
like
the
that. It's an
internet.
FI statement.
And then when we were that happened,
Traction
while
on
we
the
were
internet
planning
is a
our
TE statement.
whole US with turnover, which they were also
With turnover, that's a TE statement.
you know, coming up a little bit. And so we did that, and I think
We did that. It's an SE statement.
we played Pomona, and there was like 100-some people there. It was like
100 some people
actually
there.
crazy.
Another TE statement.
It was a crazy.
It was
time.
crazy. That's informative.
That band Story So Far took us out, and then that skyrocketed us. Then we went on tour with a band called The Wonder Years.
We went with these guys. We borrowed their credibility, and it
Honestly,
skyrocketed us.
it's
That's a
crazy to
TE
think about
statement.
because everything seems so
Honestly, it's a crazy thing to think about. It's initiating again, and he's doing it in a movement way.
lively, and everybody. It seemed like
All
not
right.
to say that everybody's not friends.
Yeah, I'm
It
calling.
seemed
I'm
like
calling
so
it,
much was
Jab.
happening, you know?
He's an ESFP.
And now it's
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
ESFP.
Matt Kerekes, ESFP. Nice. Even ESPs can do good in bands and whatnot. What's next?
Let's see. I gotta scroll up through all this chat to see who's next. Ted Bundy for $14.99.
Okay. Is there like actually available audio for that?
We'll soon find out. Ted Bundy interview. Okay. I don't know if this is an actor or some reenactment or if it's actually him. 1997 rare footage. Let's just do that.
Yourself.
I thought it was right. I want to get involved.
Okay, yeah, that's gonna be too
Barely
much.
hear that.
Thompson, occupation. Deputy Sheriff, Salt Lake County. How long?
Any questions?
Did your mother have any other?
I can't hear anything.
There was the urge to take.
Alright, how's the quality of that? Can you hear that, Chase?
It's good. Start it over.
Alright, perfect.
For the record,
So that's the interviewer who just said for the record?
you are guilty of killing many women and girls. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes, that's true.
Ted, how did it happen? Take me back. What are the antecedents of the behavior that we've seen?
Yes, it's true.
So much grief, so much sorrow, so
Yep.
much pain for so many people. Where did it start? How did this moment come about?
That's the question of the hour, and one that not only people much more intelligent than I have been working on for years, but one that I've been working on for years and trying to understand. It is there enough time to explain it all? I don't know. I think I understand it though. Understand what happened to me.
Seems
To the
movement.
extent that I can see how certain feelings and ideas developed in me to the point where I began to act out on them. Certain very violent and very destructive
Seems very
feelings.
TEFI.
Let's go.
Like he's trying to understand his own thinking from an outside point of view.
Exactly.
As
TFI.
opposed,
He was
as
kind of
opposed to,
almost
like-
abstracting. He's also abstracting what he was saying there as well.
yeah, I mean, it's almost like he's disassociating his thinking and then thinking about himself from a TE standpoint from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I see, at least.
Is he
Back then
INTJ?
to those roots. First of all,
Let's see.
you, as I understand it, were raised in what you consider to have been a healthy home.
Absolutely.
You were not physically abused. You were not sexually abused. You were not emotionally abused.
No, no way. And that's part of the tragedy of this whole situation is because I grew up in a wonderful home with two dedicated and loving parents, one of 5 brothers and sisters. a home where we as children were the focus of my parents' lives, where we regularly attended church, two Christian
We as
parents who did
children,
not
focus
drink,
of
they did
lives,
not smoke,
SE
there was
statement.
no gambling, there was no physical abuse or fighting in the home.
There is no
I'm
this,
not
there's
saying
no that, SE
this
statement.
was Leave It to Beaver.
It wasn't a perfect.
No, I don't know that such a home exists, but it was
Very
a fine,
movement.
solid Christian home, and nobody, I hope no one will try to take the easy way
Fine,
out
solid Christian knows
and
TE
try
statement.
to blame or otherwise accuse my
Yeah, I mean, it's very TE in the sense that he's analyzing himself.
Yeah.
From a TE standpoint, which I think is actually just a sign of his psychosis.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's disassociating because he's a psycho, exactly.
family of contributing to this, because I know, and I'm trying to tell you as honestly as I know what happened, and I think this is a message I want to get across. But as a young boy, and I mean a boy of 12, 13, certainly, that I encountered
The message
outside
I'm trying to
the
get
home,
across seems very systematic and very
in,
TE and SE.
The local grocery store, or the local drugstore, the softcore pornography, what people call softcore. But as I think I explained to you last night, Dr. Dobson,
What they call
is TE. It's also SE as well, and he's also using the reference points of like are these totems of these locations and places. He's not really talking about himself and his experience there. He's talking about the shared experience of those locations, etc.
No, but he's talking about the titles people apply to certain genres of pornography.
Right, that too.
Softcore. What they call softcore pornography. It's a title associated with pornography, and he's talking about what titles other people put on it. Very TE.
Right.
And an anecdote, as young boys do, we explored the back roads and sideways and byways of our neighborhood, and oftentimes people would dump the garbage and whatever they were cleaning out of their house, and from time to time we'd come across pornographic books of a harder nature than more graphic, you might say, more explicit nature than we would encounter, let's say, in your local grocery store. And this also included such things as, let's say, detective magazines and more
those that involve violence.
Yes, and I and this is something I think I want to emphasize is the most damaging kinds of pornography.
Something I want to emphasize is an SE and I statement.
Hard, real, personal experience. The most damaging kinds of pornography are those that involve violence and sexual violence. Because the wedding of those two forces, as I know too well, brings about behavior.
He's also talking about the system. He's taking a system of, pornography and softcore porn and how it's slowly leading up to the murders, etc., and creating a system and blaming a system, essentially.
Right.
So he's very systematic, while simultaneously he keeps abstracting the situation as well. Because very what if your kid goes through the same process I went through? What if your kid follows the same system I did, etc., while being movement and direct?
Yeah.
What was going on in your mind at that time?
Okay, before we go any further, I think it's important to me that people believe.
It's important to me that people believe what I'm saying is TFI. So he is absolutely an SFP NTJ type for sure. And systematically speaking, if you're an SFP NTJ type, he's either ENTJ or INTJ.
Right.
So
pornography, and not saying that it caused me to go out and do certain things. And I take full responsibility for whatever I've done and all the things that I've done. That's not the question here. The question, and
that's an FI statement,
is how this kind of literature contributed and helped mold and shape the kinds of
how's literature. Yep, that's a systematic statement. That's also an abstract statement as well.
Oh, goodness. Then tell me this guy's just going to be an INTJ.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it, dude. Definitely. He's an NT for sure. The man is definitely an NT. So, and definitely direct. You see any control in there? Because I don't see any control. I see movement. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
I could agree with that. Let's keep going.
In the beginning, it fuels this kind of thought process.
Systematic.
Then at a certain time, it's instrumental in say crystallizing
It
it.
fuels this process of this, which is a system, because there's fuel coming into a process which causes
while being direct AF.
Making it into something which is almost like a separate entity inside. And at that point, you're at the verge, or I was at the verge of acting out on these kinds of thoughts.
Now, I really want to understand that. You had gone about as far as you could go in your own fantasy life with printed material.
Very responding.
You made or printed and video or film
magazines, what have you.
And then there was the urge to take that little step or big step over to a physical event.
And it happens. It happened in stages, gradually. It doesn't necessarily, not to me at least, happen overnight. My experience with, I'd say, pornography generally, but with pornography that deals on a violent level with sexuality, is that once you become addicted to it, and I look at this as a kind of addiction, like other kinds of addiction, I would keep looking for more potent, more explicit, more graphic signs of material. Like
I've seen enough, Jab.
Cravings.
He's an INTJ. There you have it, folks.
Ha!
Hi.
Next one looks like it's from Bite Bones, aka Elmo Kennedy O'Connor. Rapper.
All right.
Is he a chocolate rapper or a candy rapper?
I don't know how to answer that question.
Haha. Bones reacts to magic. Let's see. What is the secret to on the spot Bones interview / performance? Where's the interview? Here we go.
Okay. How long have you been making music?
I've been recording music since I was.
Is the quality of that too bad, or can you?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Bones, Jimmy Kimmel. Here we go. We should be able to find something here. Nope. Bones interview.
Yes, Amanda Lynn Gleason.
Bones stars Emily Deschanel. Okay.
Seated view to the
Okay, I think that's the wrong Bones. Damn, it's hard to find this guy.
Bite, give us some stuff to look at.
Because I look at Bones, and then there's a TV show called Bones, and all those are coming out.
Do his name.
I tried. That was just as bad. All right, I'll try again. Okay, let's see. I mean, we've got that terrible interview, but
We'll try again, I guess.
I mean, that's the only one I can see right now.
Make some motherfucking noise, good shit.
No, I mean, we're just gonna have to try and make do with it.
All right.
We'll do this. I'll keep looking for more.
How many super chats do we got total?
How many left?
Yeah.
So Bones Then we've got Neil Strauss. Then we've got John Green. Then we've got Lloyd Evans, and then
we already did
Hunter
Lloyd
S.
Evans. We already
Thompson.
done.
Sorry, then we've got Hunter
yeah,
S. Thompson.
we already did Hunter S. Thompson as well, on another stream, and he gave us a different name to do.
What was the different name?
We'll have to scroll up and find out what that is. But folks, no more super chats. Super chats are closed this evening. No more super chats, please.
Okay, I think this is one.
Try to implement it in us. Try to do something similar.
Okay, so that's him talking right now. I'll turn it
Okay.
up a bit more. It seems a bit quiet.
to that. Something like Skater Boy. You know the song? Something like that. That's like my life.
That's movement.
I like Right Away, Great Captain, Dallas Green, like City in Color, fucking like old pussy MySpace music, like Say Ocean.
Like fucking lame 13-year-old kid, like thinking you're depressed.
He's dead serious too.
Make sure we get a tight one of this guy. Yeah. I mean, the second that I wouldn't want to is the second that I think it's stopping fun.
I don't know. This interview format of this one's pretty bad. Let me try this.
Well, I got movement at least.
Oh, Thesis Mafia. So, oh.
Okay, this is terrible. Oh no, here we go. I think we got something.
That was my friend.
Bit loud.
Oh, okay.
Whispering at the end of that.
But then you also have a line in "Hey, sorry, I was in the shower" where you say, while they're worried about being on top.
I just want to make sure that this is under very, very, very hot, because I know that you guys rate songs hot, kind of hot, like new, very hot. I want this under very,
burn like George Bush.
Oh my god, like these interviews of him are just edited to shit and like destroyed.
It's Ricky
over a minute long.
Team Seth. I think that the people that write things online, I don't really look or know their names. That wasn't me. That was my friend Drip.
Oh, okay.
Whispering at the end of that.
Who's talking?
Like websites.
Him.
Okay.
Somebody's edited this to shit and cut out all the questions, and this is basically him talking and then like transitions, and it's just terrible. All right, let's try this one.
Cancer.
Favorite blunt wrap.
And the only interviews of him that are actually there are like terrible quality. Okay, let's just go with this terrible quality one.
Andy Hall from Right Away, Great Captain. Okay. Dallas Green.
Okay, this one's just happening in the middle of the fucking street, so.
Yeah.
You can hear like the traffic more than you can hear him.
All right, bye. Choose somebody else, please.
Yeah. Whatever. Let's just go on to the next one while we wait for her to choose, just so we don't put her on the spot and make her pick someone she doesn't want.
All
Have we
right.
done Neil Strauss?
No, we have not done Neil Strauss before. Author of the game.
Neil Strauss pick up on.
I'm gonna guess INFJ or ENFP. Is my guess.
Okay, so this is him coming out now. Get forward.
Spears' phone number, didn't you?
True.
True.
Yes. So
How did you manage that?
I was doing this interview with her, and it was all those yes, no, I don't care answers that she's kind of.
Informative initiating movement, NESI. Ow! Talks kind of like I do. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man.
I think this guy might be an ENFP.
Oh! I wonder.
Yeah.
Ever met? Whoever they are. So I just started running it.
Get ready to turn it
not
up.
hitting on her. it's showing you're interesting. It's, you know, being playful, teasing, and also like just being more interesting than everyone else out there. And so I started telling her about her body language.
More interesting than Kevin
Movement.
Federline? I don't think so.
I was doing this. I was doing that. S-I-N-E.
So you read her, what did you say? You read her body
like her
language?
eye movements, her body language, say what it means about her. One of these guys in this book, this guy named Ross Jeffers.
Neuro-linguistic programming.
Based on Magnolia. Says one of the rules is demonstrate authority over
That
her.
is a TEFI statement. Gosh, that's another TE statement. Demonstrate authority over her world. TE. Very movement.
And then I did
Very
a little bit
initiating.
of, mind reading, a little bit of magic, and then she said, "Can we shut off the tape deck?" And she started just sort of gushing and unloading. And at the end of the interview, she said, "I'd like to exchange phone numbers." And that's when I realized that kind of worked.
Now, you know, if she's at home right now, maybe nursing the baby, she's going, "Oh, that did not happen. Oh, I did not."
She'll admit it happened. I read her mind, and she ran. She looked in the mirror, and she was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I just did that."
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Well, and so how'd you get mixed up with these guys?
I did some awesome things. Like I did a book on Motley Crue, and I would sit around and watch them having all the fun. I was the guy who didn't have a date in high school. And I figured for college, I decided to go to Vassar College because it's a girls' school. I figured my odds were better there.
Yeah. Did you dress like a woman, like in Bosom Buddies?
Yeah, exactly. Me and Tom Hanks. And still nothing. No girlfriend, no date.
Me and Tom Hanks, that's F-I-T-E.
I figured all was not lost. I'm going to be this rock writer, go on the road with Motley Crue, had that backstage pass around my neck where anything can happen.
It's a TE statement that's also informative.
Right, I think that was an informative joke, though.
Yeah. Definitely. He's definitely STJ NFP Quadra, and he is informative initiating movement. So STJ NFP Quadra, just off of what we have already, I could say ENFP just based off of that. Just based off of interaction style and cognitive axes alone. Not even counting temperament whatsoever. I can already say he's an ENFP by default. Like, my goodness. Yeah, let's do a little bit more. Just do a little bit more. Yeah.
Oh, no action in the whole Motley Crue tour. You wrote a book about Jenna Jameson, the adult film star. Nothing there?
Nothing really.
Nothing there. And so you get in with these guys, the pickup artists. And they teach you, what are like, if you could give us like just a few, like the broad strokes of how this works, what are they?
God, so literally.
Actually, could you try it on, Jessica, would you mind?
I wouldn't try it on a talk show. I didn't learn talk show game.
Oh, is there a different game?
But here's the thing. There's this idea that, you know, someone's beautiful, you got to hit on them or something. But in LA, everyone's beautiful. Everyone beautiful comes to LA to try a movie, right? So if you're beautiful, so what? You got lucky in the gene pool, right? So if I was to ask you to name 3 things about yourself that would make me want to know you better.
3 things. That's TE. Yep.
I'm loyal.
Right.
Reliable.
Right.
And
And I'm an SI user. I'm an SI user. SI. I'm an SI user. Love me because I'm an SI user.
The whole thing is guys are always trying to sell themselves to women. They're always trying to brag about themselves.
Oh my gosh. I just need to like mentally remove the slime.
Absolutely no interest in you.
Oh.
That's like one of the pieces.
Wow.
But thanks for playing along.
Wow. Yeah. Did you feel like that was effective in a way?
I felt like that's just what intelligent people that, I don't know, that talk to me do. They don't care so much about the physical, and they do actually look for more than that. And so whether it's a guy or a girl. Well, the smart ones that do go further than, hi, yeah, you're crazy. You know, you have to look for more than that, because at the end of the day, it doesn't last forever.
Like when I told you you had a
Everybody
cute
gets
top, that was like something.
old. Oh, I thought you wanted to wear it.
Oh.
Like I wasn't sure with that.
Yeah, so she assumed I was gay. Does this work for gays?
You know what? Some of the stuff, I have a friend who reviewed it for a magazine, and he said half the stuff would work. There's this idea of negs, the playful backhanded insults.
Oh.
Those he said would be very effective.
And
it's all basic human nature. The idea that a guy named Mystery, taught me something called cat stink theory.
Now, does he go up to the women and say, "Hi, my name's Mystery"?
He does.
And that worked for him?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen affiliated from him yet, but
I don't know.
There's a chance you. Nah. I don't know. Do you think you could be an ENTP?
Let's try to prove it wrong. Let's see. Let's try to prove ENTP. Let's do it.
Well, that
sounds like one of Michael Jackson's friends.
Exactly. The thing is, they all have to make nicknames because they're all online, posting their entire sex lives and their fears and insecurities online. So you make up these names because you want to meet a girl and have her Google you and find out you've been up to all this stuff.
Right. No.
So this is all like internet savvy game playing.
Right. Because this is like revenge.
That's like the future of dating.
Right. And these are the guys, all guys when they're frustrated, they go to the internet. And then they learn this, and then it's like you'll see a club.
When they're not looking at Jenna Jameson, then they can go in these chat rooms.
Exactly. They'll go out and do it in real life. And you'll see on Sunset any night. You can go down there and you'll see these guys. They're all doing this stuff called peacocking. They're all standing out. They're all using the same routines. And it's like the guys.
What is peacocking?
Peacocking? They have their own language, by the way. And I'll get a call from a guy, and he'll say, Style was my name. And I'll say, hey, I was in a 2-set, and I was trying to neg the target, but I got IOIs from the obstacle. Should I have DHV'd or DLV'd? Assuming she was an SHB11. And that'll mean something.
Yeah, but it means you guys are nerds as well.
Totally.
I'm saying a lot of systematic, Jab.
Yeah, that's why I
These are
said
the guys who were like
ENTP.
playing Warcraft a month ago. Now they're playing Warcraft or whatever the game is, but in the clubs with real people.
Wow, but like peacocking, is this like showing off?
Yeah, peacocking is like the way a peacock
What kind of girls does this work on? Like, what kind of girls are they
Britney
pulling?
Spears.
No. Here's the thing. Britney Spears in an interview, but what kind of chicks are these guys pulling on Sunset Boulevard?
Very good question, Jessica. Thank you. What kind of girls are See, it works. Right?
The truth is, it works. I went kind of all over the world when I was kind of in disguise as this and did it. Every country, and the same stuff works. Really? The same social dynamics. Here, should I give you the
That's a TIFE statement, and that talking about social dynamics is an FE
Walking
statement.
right to the person you're interested in, hitting on her right away. You approach the whole group. You win over the group of people. You almost push her away.
Where'd you go, Jeb?
So you're kind of pushing her away. You're showing your friends that you're not hitting on her, and you win over her friends, and you'll slowly win her over. That's the basic idea. But they have this mapped out to a T. Guys will drop out of school. They'll drop out of college. I don't recommend it.
Wow.
But they'll do that to learn this. That's how obsessed they are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's good. A lot of guys spend time like learning to play blackjack or something.
Right.
This seems a lot more fun than blackjack.
Okay.
Because what do you want the money for anyway?
Yeah. And why isn't your picture on the? Because see, if I was you, you should put your picture on the book because then guys will know. Oh well, you know, if Neil got the girls, you know, because I assume. I assume you're a Lothario, you know.
2 years of self-esteem down the drain, man.
No, I mean, but for
That's
an
an FE
guy
statement.
like me, I go, all right. Well, if look at
2
this
years
bald
of
guy. He
self-esteem down the drain.
Me with this beautiful head of hair. What could I do?
You know what? It actually works. The big cheesy guy that that frightens women, scares them off. So I can come in at least under the radar a little bit.
All right. Well, very good. Well, sounds like an interesting book. It is called The Game. If you want to pick that up, Neil Strauss is the author.
Ooh.
Do another interview.
Let's get him on The View. Let's see how he responds to a highly female audience.
Tips on getting any woman they choose. Yeah, right. And he's revealing all of the tricks of the trade right here today. So please welcome the author of The Game, Neil Strauss. Neil, welcome to the
All right, thanks for having me. Thanks, guys.
Now, I never even knew this existed. The secret society of pickup artists here, actual groups of guys that go all over the world. They get together, they trade tips on how to manipulate and maneuver into a woman's pants, okay?
This is... Wow.
Yeah, you didn't know.
Hit for the jugular, but I'll explain it.
Wow, that's an FE statement. That's some FE guilt. Yeah, that was FE guilt.
Guys are involved in this.
These are guys who 70% are what you'd expect. Really, computer nerds, engineers who really are 25-year-old virgins. Or one guy was
like a Baxter.
like what is a Baxter?
A
But like
Baxter's
that.
like that guy who's your best friend but has a crush on you and you have no idea.
That was me. I was the Baxter.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Or guys, there was one guy who was 26.
That was a TIFE statement. That was me.
So these guys are legit. So they're not trying to, you're saying the opposite then.
Well,
they're trying to come up with
eventually
a
they
line
have to
that'll
get there if you want to have a trial. So
Yeah.
eventually everyone's going to get in someone's pants.
Yeah,
Eventually.
true, right.
But
Science says.
science says.
But what did you, I mean, you said before you became part of this group, you were sort of an average chump, right?
Right. They call them AFC as an average frustrated chump.
Average
Those are the
frustrated
guys who
chump.
just don't know what to do. They're the guys who end up being the Baxter.
So what did you learn that helped transform you?
That's
Oh my
another
God.
systematic
Becoming
statement.
the world's best pickup artist.
All right. Right now I'm the world's best boyfriend, by the way. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Which
we like
probably,
that.
that's her right there.
That's a TIFE statement talking about world's best
I used to be
boyfriend.
like super insecure. I used to look a lot different. I was very insecure about my looks and thought my nose was too big. I'm only 5'6". I'm super skinny. All these things. I used to really think about plastic surgery. But I learned that I could go fully on my personality, just know what to say, how people work socially. I could go out there, and if I could still
TIFE,
be
how people work
considered the world's
socially.
greatest pickup artist and still look like this,
How people work, NESI.
Yep.
then I can finally be happy with myself.
But you're talking about
And I can find happiness myself, but as if I could have the title of pickup artist, that's actually a very pragmatic point of view. Haven't really heard a single affiliate of thing this entire time, and it's just super mega systematic. I have to agree with you, Jab. I am convinced he's not an ENFP. He is not. This man is an NT. Definitely an NT.
He's going to be an ENTP because you got the
he has no
interaction
choice.
subject.
Yep. He is an ENTP. Definitely an ENTP. Thank you for correcting me there. I jumped the gun on that one.
Okay, so Bite changed to Joji, a singer.
Okay.
My artist name is Joji. I'm from and just moved here. Yeah, it was really weird actually. I was growing up with I had two friends that we always made music together, and we were making songs before we knew we were making songs. Like we'd be silly and we'd make songs about like a teacher, or like if we were like making fun of a kid, we'd make a song about a kid, which never do that, but we were doing that kind of stuff. And then one day, I think we were in like 6th grade or something, someone steps in and it's just like, wait, these are actual songs. And we're like, what? Like, what do you mean? They're like, yeah, like, like it's not easy to make a song. So from there, we were like, oh, we're making songs. That's cool. And we just kept kind of making songs. And through that, like just through fucking around, we learned how to produce, how to, just train our voices, and just kind of learn from the internet what was popping all throughout.
This seems a bit interesting.
The internet was starting to kick off.
Yeah.
Because you see the lack of system.
Yeah.
The
lack of system. He didn't talk about the process that he followed for creating the songs itself. Yeah. It's very interest based.
Yeah, he said it just came across as, by accident, he was just mocking people, and then, hey, somebody came along and said, this is a song. And then he's like, oh, cool, let's keep doing it. Like I can get something out of this, like an interest point of view. So, yeah, this is filthy, Frank.
We were learning and doing all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
I can say direct.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes.
Remember, guys, no more super chats. Super chats are closed.
And stuff. Depends on who I'm working with.
I mean, unless you want to give us free money. I'm coin operated, nice and lubricated, Let's keep going.
Really, we're drag and drop. We're obnoxiously just spewing onto the canvas. Definitely in this first 6 months, I learned in America that the people are more unpredictable. Because everyone's more individualized here. I come from a place where, stand in a line,
very control. He initiated
the
that idea, so he's direct initiating
so
control.
everyone just kind of had these.
Gosh, is this an ESTP?
Egos,
Stabilized egos. That's a TIFE statement.
More special than anyone else. It was all normal, not normal, but and then I came here and there's people constantly trying to one up each other, and people. It's not bad at all. Like I'm saying, it's great that there's this much individuality amongst people, but it was kind of like a little culture shock that one individual can while out. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Let's skip a little bit ahead because this interviewer is just talking and you can barely hear him.
Well, I get everything creatively from the Joji stuff. The other stuff is just, I mean, I do it, but it's more formula based, and it's me not using my own sound and own voice. I mean, I am, but the Joji stuff is definitely, it's the sounds that I want to hear that take a lot of effort that I wouldn't put that kind of effort into the other medium. You know, there's definitely more. It's a connection to the music that I want to make and the sounds that
I wouldn't put that effort into this, and that. Very interest based.
I want to hear, which are completely different from
Yep.
the other stuff, which is more formulaic.
Seems really concrete. I haven't really heard any abstract concepts at all.
I think NISE as well.
Yeah, I already have that down. Just stating facts. He's not really referring to reference points or puffing himself up like typical FI users would.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think he is? NISTT?
I think he's an ESTP. I'm thinking ESTP right now.
Yeah, I could see that.
Biological clock type shit. You know, it was like, am I
definitely pragmatic?
Kind of do this, or am I gonna move on? And
that's low NI right there. Am I gonna do this, or am I gonna do this? What are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that you'd need to convince me any further that this guy was an ESTP is if he ripped out a bong and started ripping in the bong.
Nice. I mean, he probably has a vape pen in his pocket. Who knows?
Probably.
And test in all creative mediums, you know.
In all creative mediums, initiating.
How good of, you know, content I could make in general. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. FE statement. Very control. This guy's super control. Yeah. I mean, everything was based off trial and error. Everything's based off trial and error. Yeah, I mean, he initiated that statement. It's initiating. So yeah, he's direct initiating control, pragmatic interest, concrete. So he's an SP, in charge SP. He's got SENI, FETI. Joji is ESTP. There you folks have it.
Yeah, and just to put it in context, what the interviewer said was, do you think you would have worked more on Joji if Filthy Frank didn't take off? And he said, yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything was done by trial and error. Like, that's interest right there. Like, he did what he would get the most out of, and trial and error just proved that he didn't follow a system.
Yep. Or wasn't relying on anyone else to do it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, also when you do the title, also put in Filthy Frank because he's more so known as Filthy Frank. Aiden just put in $24.99.
Stop giving us super chats. I've already said that. Stop.
Are we gonna do Aiden's? Because I think he's the top bidder at the moment.
Yeah. How many do we have left?
Let me see. I think we have at least 3 or 4.
My goodness.
Okay, so we've got the one from Aiden. We've got... Did we do Neil Strauss?
We did Neil Strauss. Jamie Vernon.
Did we do John Green?
We did not.
We did Tim Bundy. We haven't done Hunter S. Thompson.
We've done Hunter S. Thompson on another night, and he changed it to something else.
Whatever we changed it to, and then there's Lloyd Evans. Have we done him?
We did Lloyd Evans, yes. SI Demon, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so we've got what, 3?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's go with Aiden's first, since she's technically the top bidder.
It sucks that my widget is not working. My goodness.
Joined late. Apologies for super chatting. Got another. with young Jamie.
Growth. And when you break it down, if that's a real number, if we need 100,000 houses a year.
I saw this picture. This was on Reddit or the other day. A 60 square foot flat.
Is that loud enough?
I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah. The space that people. I don't know how many. This is 2 people living in here. It looks like at least 2. Like a closet.
It's a tiny closet. Everything's in there. The tiny little refrigerator, tiny little sink. This is crazy.
Bunk beds.
Yeah. It's just, this is not, if you...
It keeps in the city or like moving to
I've never
the
been to
city.
Hong Kong, so it's always been great, but I think the population in Hong Kong is fucking bananas, right? There's just too many fucking people. I don't know, man. It's just, it weirds.
Here yet?
No, just too.
Where's young Jamie?
The brain with
Telephone.
But the actual size, you can like hold it and it's about the same size as the palm.
Holy shit.
And it shoots 4K video. It goes up to, I want to say, about 4 miles away from you.
What?
Yeah. Dude, obviously you're going to lose sight of it. It goes to 20, 30, 40 miles an hour or something. That's crazy.
SANI.
This is a
Seems
bite
pretty
size.
concrete.
God. And does it avoid things or
Yeah, this one
evade
has
things?
obstacle avoidance. Cameras on the front 4, them on the back or the bottom 2. So they have another version, which is the Phantom 4 Pro, I believe, which is a bigger version than this. They have an Inspire, which is the way bigger version, and then they have like the full film, like that a film company would use. Got like 8 big crazy props on it.
Do you remember when they filmed that movie, The Twilight Zone, and they didn't have drones back then? They had a helicopter, an actual real helicopter behind them doing a stunt. Do you remember that? There was a horrible accident. Oh man, it was a horrible accident where this actor and this little girl were killed.
Oh wait.
The helicopter came crashing down on them. Yeah, don't even show me this, dude. I don't even want to watch that shit. Something about seeing people die for a movie too. It's like particularly gruesome. It's like, what? How did you think that you could just?
We're not getting much out of this.
No.
It's not.
The guy's
So I
like,
think
he seems super responding, you know what I mean? Like, so.
I think he's Joe Rogan's sound guy.
Yeah.
So he's like a shitty version of me.
Great. And also, Aiden, we usually do streams on Tuesday and Thursdays at 9 Eastern. So. Kurt Cobain is an INFJ.
Jamie steals the show. Let's see this.
One. Boom, Gavin McGinnis, you are live, sir. For driver screaming at an Uber driver. Fixed it. Guys playing Star Wars.
Oh, okay. This isn't necessarily good.
Aiden, you gotta give us like somebody with real audio to go through.
Trump is, I guess, supporting it. He's gonna
Let's see what we can get.
In person.
Oh.
Yeah. Delirium swag.
Oh, well, that guy's probably Russian too. How many?
This guy barely speaks. I mean, we can go back to that Joe Rogan interview. Well, not interview, but where he's just
like a
talking
really-
with Joe Rogan. Let's see what we can do.
High-end, like a binocular type glass, and then having insanely high definition video, and then having this exponential jump in this virtual technology where they figure out a way to really lock you into something that is not, it's not invasive to the point where it's not like fucking with your experience by you feeling it on your head. It's very light, because sometimes you're putting those bulky headsets and the goggles, it's over your eyes. Like that's going to shrink up too. That's going to shrink up to almost nothing. And with all these like big jumps that they're making, How far away are we from some fully immersive Avatar world?
Gotta be getting close.
Dude, it's gonna be bananas.
Why do I get the
It's gonna be
feeling?
like
Yeah, he's super strong. He
Avatar
sounds
world that you
sounds
can go
behind
on
the scenes.
your journey in. I mean, imagine if
Tell
they
Joe to
used
shut up.
if
Gosh.
what they become, because think about how these serial shows like Sopranos and then ultimately Game of Thrones and a lot of these other great shows, they catch you and they rope you in and they bring
$80, $100, $150,
Oh.
$300, something crazy. Do it.
now you're talking.
That would be
That
awesome.
seems
What you do,
informative.
you construct that world, and then
Talking about
once
money in that
you're
regard
that
is
world, then you put on
TEFI.
VR goggles, and it turns everything into fluorescent neon greens and blues and.
Is this
like
guy an
the Avatar
ISFP?
world.
Jab, does he look
See
like an
everything,
ISFP?
and then you actually watch that. You're not gonna feel a sensation of walking and climbing. You know what I mean?
Oh, let me just get to the
Alright,
video
then.
where it shows him again.
Headset attachment that makes the Vive fit on your head a little bit more comfortably.
Yeah.
They showed what they're calling the tracker, which is essentially the end of the controller. which
That's
kinda looks like a
SENI.
clean- they said any-
It kind of looks like
That's
a clean
concrete.
ISTJ. It kind of looks like a clean and neat ISTJ.
Interesting.
with. But one of the things they showed is it were on the end of a gun.
Now that's movement.
Gun games, they put it on the end of a baseball bat, and the baseball bat then you could see the bat in the Vive game that you were playing or the baseball simulation you were playing, but they could pull in real Major League Baseball pitches, actual.
They
data
could bring in, that's an any
last,
statement.
5 to 10 years. Any pitch from any pitcher you want to see, you can have now come at you and go ahead and try to hit it.
Oh my god.
And probably then put you theoretically in any park you want or wherever the hell you want baseball bats.
It's
How many dudes are
NSI.
gonna be blowing their shoulders apart?
Well,
swinging at the air with this thing.
Hopefully, you're not like bashing your house up too, but
That's
like,
direct.
That idea can be expounded on.
Now, would you? I would think that if you were gonna do something like that, you would want to do it with a bat that's like the same weight as a real bat.
You'd probably want the they had an actual wooden baseball bat. They just screwed the thing on the bottom.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah. So do it with that. You could probably have a sword. You could probably have a bow.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
If you had a sword, do you know what kind of a fucking awesome workout you would get? My arms were so tired at Duncan's place just for playing his archery thing, and I'm not even pulling anything back. I'm just holding my arm up. Like there's no actual resistance pulling the bow back, but just holding your arm straight in front of you and doing this over and over again. My arms were killing me, man.
Yeah.
I was like, this is amazing. Like this actually has some physical benefit to it. And the boxing game has.
Didn't you
real
think he was systematic when he was describing that augmented reality app?
learn how a person moves and how it feels like to spar with them. You see punches come at you.
No, it could have been interesting in the sense of like what you can get out of it, like being informative. I don't know.
But he was explaining on what could be with it, like, but he was still saying what is. He wasn't abstracting it all. It seemed like he's following a process. And he was following a process for the sound gear in the previous clip that you played, right?
Right.
This
Yeah.
kind of seems systematic to me. Is this like, I don't know, he kind of seems almost ISTJ-ish.
Yeah, like I said when you asked me what he looks like, a clean ISTJ.
Oh, I thought you said ESTJ.
No, I said a clean and a neat ISTJ. Like he kind of reminds me of Jason, to be honest.
Yeah, he's really movement for sure, and he is responding. So
yeah,
and it seems like he's going in and out of his ENFP subconscious with his ego a little bit. So that's why every now and then it's like direct versus informative, but definitely seeing that FITE approach. So,
all right.
You can learn how to slip punches. You can learn how to counter with things. You don't feel hitting anything. That's the only thing that's missing. You don't feel them hitting you. But at least when they hit you, you see like sparks.
One of the, it wouldn't sound worth bumping the video, but there was a haptic feedback, essentially a backpack / chest thing you put on for VR that would give you sort of shock or feel something. I don't know how hard it would feel.
Should jolt the shit out of you.
There was another there's a in the video I watched showing that the trackers that they were adding onto different devices. They put it on a fire hose, and they also put a jacket on you that had heaters in it.
Whoa.
So while you're putting out a fire and it's feedback of the hose, it's also getting warmer, getting hot. So like there's different. That's not really a game, as more of it is a simulation, or it is a training tool for an actual fire company.
Well, it's also to let you know like what's the potential.
I could almost make the argument for INTJ.
24.
You reckon?
Yeah, just a little bit. Like I can almost make that argument too. So between the two, because it's like he's saying, you know, they this, and you can do this, and you know, it's like those are SE and I statements. Like he's not really sharing much of his experience with them. I'm really torn between his perception functions right now.
I'm going to pick up the playback speed to 1.5 because this is going really slow. I think we can still pick it up and still hear everything they're saying. And, you know, the only one who might go a little bit fast is Joe Rogan, but who cares what he says at this point?
4. Yeah, maybe not even, maybe 2.
And Joshed Up Reviews, tell us what person you wanted us to go for, because you paid for Hunter S. Thompson, but we already did that one in the past. So, and Neil Strauss is an ENTP, Jamie Nelson.
Supposedly gonna have a VR.
As soon as someone comes up with a haptic feedback suit, you know, that's able to get hot and cold and vibrate and jolt and even give you a little bit of pain.
Yeah, you need something.
You need a little bit of pain. A little fucker. You know, where you're really feeling it.
Remember that? Was that I don't know which James Bond movie it was, where they're holding on to there's some sort of like stick they're holding on to, and like the loser, it just gets more painful, and like they're trying man versus man contest. But there's a bunch of, it's like at a cocktail party.
I don't remember that one. I avoided a lot of those James Bond movies. Eddie Bravo said something to me a long time ago and it fucked me
He's
up.
definitely cognitive transitioning into his subconscious repeatedly. Definitely doing it, because he goes from direct responding movement and then all of a sudden he's in form initiating movement straight up. Like you could see it. He was just in form initiating movement a few seconds ago, but then previously he was direct responding movement before then.
Okay.
Jordan Belfort.
So what types have those two as subconscious ego?
ITJs have informative, have starter subconscious.
I would say he seems a bit more concrete, but he did recall.
He is definitely more concrete. He is for sure.
He did recall an obscure fact from a James Bond film.
That is very ISTJ-ish.
Yeah. I don't think an INTJ would care.
They would not. They would not care, no.
Some obscure fact from a James Bond film. I mean, it's even to the point Joe Rogan didn't even remember it, and he's got, like, what, SI Nemesis? And
he's definitely systematic. Like, Jamie Vernon is systematic. He is not interest-based. I'm just not seeing it. Have you seen any interest? I just can't.
Well, to be honest, you haven't really given him any situation to show interest in anything.
True.
Seriously, we were talking about like action movies, and he's like, the problem with these action movies is you always know who's gonna live. The main guy's always gonna live. Like you never, oh yeah, he's gonna hang by a fucking thread. Yep, he's gonna make it. He's gonna live. You know he's gonna live. I'm like, you motherfucker. Like I knew that. Of course I knew that. You go to see the Terminator or you go to see Predator. You don't think that Arnold Schwarzenegger is gonna get killed by the alien at the end. No, you think that's actually really bad for us, isn't it? It's really bad to have the good guy win in all of them. That's why I think like no.
Shut up, Joe.
It's probably important. It's important to know that sometimes the guy who you think is gonna live, a movie is this. Well, that's a movie. Came up. Why are we pretending? This is stupid.
I'm going at the Donald the other day.
No, I didn't, but I can't believe that Donald went at Arnold. He's the goddamn president,
The
sir.
ratings were down,
Of course.
supposedly.
Well, he compared it to his first season, you know, and then all the 15 seasons he did afterwards. They fired him from that show for talking about Mexicans. Did you know that? That's when they fired him. They fired him from that show, and he's still the executive producer. So he's talking shit about a show that he's still the executive producer of.
How is he allowed to be the executive producer?
How is he allowed to be the executive producer? That's TFI. I thought there were rules about that. That's TFI.
He's going to step down from a bunch of shit. Now he's president. Dude, it's going to be weird fucking for sure. It's going to be weird. And he's going to be weird during the weirdest era ever.
That's also affiliative, talking about rules. It's not pragmatic.
Hell is going to open up right in front. It's going to be like a river of lava.
Is that the actual end of the world day?
Yeah, the Mayans were only off by 4 or 5 years. They were off by
That's
a little.
also TEFI.
What do they think? December 21st, 2012. So they were off a little.
4 years.
Yeah, not that bad. Not that bad.
4 years, that's an
They missed it a little bit. They did it
NE
thousands of years ago,
statement.
man. You're fucking guessing thousands of years ago. I mean, I wonder if there really is like a cycle where civilizations just they get to a point where all the monkey shit that led them to scratch and scrape.
Jab, I got it. Based on what we got, the guy's an ISTJ. Like, he really
yeah,
is.
I mean, it would make sense. It would make sense being with an ESTP Joe Rogan as his co-host. I mean, we basically did the exact same
He
thing.
is systematic. He is concrete. So he is an SJ, okay? And he's TIFE as an SJ, which means he's ESTJ or ISTJ, but he's so responding. Like, he's so responding. So he's an ISTJ. There you go.
There we go. ISTJ. Who are we doing next?
Jordan Belfort was Josh's reviews guy.
Okay.
No more super chats, folks. Super chats are closed.
I think we did I think we haven't done John Green yet, have we?
No.
Interview. What did you say it was?
There's Jordan Belfort, which is the Hunter S. Thompson one replacement.
Funding for the interview show with Mark Baker.
Wow, that's really fast. And slow that down to normal,
Yeah,
please.
sorry. I forgot to slow it down since Joe Rogan. What did you say his name was? Jordan Belfast or something?
Jordan Belfort.
Jordan Belfort. Okay, I'll just put that there.
Baser is provided by Lifeway.
Yeah. You know, get the plug. You'll add
So
some
she's in high school, getting ready to think about college, and in many ways, she's a smart,
Normal speed, please.
cool kid. She's got some friends.
This is normal speed.
But she also has something in which she cannot
Who's talking?
control.
You got to tell me.
Many of the thoughts.
Okay.
that go into
Interviewer.
her brain.
Said it 4 times.
Yeah. Specifically,
All right.
she thinks that she has a fatal bacterial infection, or that she's about to get one.
Right.
And that's her obsession.
Yeah,
Well,
so
it's funny and also the most tragic thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny unless you personally have your thoughts hijacked for months or years at a time. And then it's not so funny because if you can't choose what you think about over a long period of time, that really sort of destabilizes what exactly people mean when they talk about you.
Sure.
Like if you're not responsible for or being able to choose your thoughts, then like, are you not possibly a passenger in this consciousness that you are stuck inside of, which is
So
like,
abstract. My goodness.
She has, the name for it is OCD.
Me at least verifying TIFE.
I mean, she has the obsessions,
Seems
which is
movement.
this idea that there's a fatal or at any moment fatal bacteria that could enter her.
Oh, this
And she
is
has
John
the
Green.
compulsion-
Okay.
I don't want to interrupt you, but
Yeah,
the thing
no,
the thing about C. diff is
Okay,
that
so you just
it's
initiate
not
it.
like it could
That's
at
the
any
bacteria.
moment interrupt
It
you.
couldn't at all.
They have such similar voices. It's cancer.
And
You want to get a different interview?
No, this is fine. Just help me differentiate.
Well, the guy who keeps interrupting is the interviewer.
All right.
Because he's like movement and initiating, so he's kind of a dick.
So like there's that to deal with.
There is.
Yeah.
So you're
interviewer.
Okay, sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. It's just like you made it out to be like, oh, she's being so irrational, and she is like her response to the
TIFE.
Everybody has it.
that she is a skin encased bacterial colony is somewhat irrational, but like on the other hand,
Talking
like,
about freedom of thought is pragmatic.
it's
get it.
weird. It's weird.
I
It's
get it.
weird that half of the cells inside of your body are not you.
Very movement.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's just get it out on the table.
Yeah.
The book meant a lot to me, and
Thanks,
the reason, and I've loved all your books.
Thanks,
but
man. FE.
I have OCD. I believe you have OCD as well.
Yeah,
I don't
do. Yeah.
talk about it
Yeah.
unless I'm on TV. And
Yeah, me neither.
yeah. But one man or woman's OCD obsession is not another man or woman. So I get it. C. diff, a bacteria that could cause death that's in all of us. That, I am cool with that. But radon in my house, that's another story entirely. If you want to go down
I'm well aware of the radon in your house issue.
Yeah.
You don't need to go into it again because I know more about it than anyone other than your spouse.
Right, that's right. Do you know more than the guy at the hotline in Kansas City who I call every few months?
The thing, one of the things about OCD is that, like, and I make fun of it too, and like this is something we have together and that we've made fun of together for 15 years.
The whole basis of our friendship.
It is sort of the whole basis of our friendship. I mean, certainly the initial point of connection was meeting somebody else who gets their thoughts hijacked for long periods of time, and you feel less alone in that, and that's really why I wrote the book. Like, was because I wanted to feel less alone in it, and also I wanted other people to maybe feel that way. But
is C. diff your
T-A-E-F-I.
No, so I mean,
or T-I-F-E.
Yeah,
Very
right.
movement.
I can't write about mine. I'm too. They're too close to me. So, you know, when I set out to write the novel, I knew that I was going to be writing a novel. I wanted it to be kind of like aggressively fictional. I wanted it to be very obviously not real, both to me and to the reader. And I.
Are you seeing a bit of NISE here? I've seen him say.
Yeah,
that
I
he wanted
am.
to do things this way and that way and this way. Like.
I am.
As part of that, I knew that I can't write directly. I can't even, to be honest, I can't even talk directly. Like, I'm very impressed with your ability to talk about the radon thing because I'm
going through some issues in my head at the moment.
I can't talk directly about my obsessive thought spirals because it feels too dangerous. It feels, it feels dangerous.
And it's also worth noting that radon is a real problem.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. And one of the embarrassments for me of my obsessional thinking is that, you know, like in a way I'm trivializing real problems that real people go through. And that's something that Asa struggles with as well. C. diff is also a real problem, and people who live with C. diff infections, you know, can have chronic health problems that are very serious and very difficult. And in a way, like, her obsessive worry about this stuff, it feels as if she's trivializing other people's experience. That said, like, when you're inside of that thought spiral, there is literally, for me at least, nothing that you can do about it. Like, it is not something that you choose or that anyone would choose.
One of the classic ones is, I have AIDS.
Right.
When you don't have AIDS.
Right.
But AIDS is a tragedy that has killed many, 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 many people.
Yeah.
And yet, you're not trying to trivialize it. You think you do in that OCD way.
Right. And there's a lot of, like, sexual obsessions that are similar that, or, you know, and it is one of the things that makes it a difficult thing to live with is that it's a
that was initiating.
Because
he just changed his thought completely.
I have worked really hard not to feel stigmatized or embarrassed about the brain disorder that I have, but I still do.
Right. I think this guy is actually initiating, but he's finding some difficulty.
This other guy is the starter. He's being forced to cognitive transition. You know,
Yeah,
I think he's an ENTP. I'm honestly thinking this guy's an ENTP, but he's having to go, like, it's almost seem like an INFJ or ENTJ or INTJ shadow, you know, and he's coming off INFJ-ish when in reality he's ENTP-ish. You know what I'm saying? And this other guy's a starter type too, and he's got two starter types trying to, like, converse with each other in an interview, and it's causing a cognitive transition. So.
Right, and you can definitely see the other guy is a bit more dominant.
Yeah, for sure.
I still feel embarrassed about it. I still feel a little ashamed about it. And in the end, like, I felt...
Embarrassed and ashamed, that's more of an FITE statement, isn't it?
It is. It is a more of an FITE statement, but sometimes the language cannot be that accurate. I'm not entirely sure, but I'll put a tick mark down for it. It's not like he can't say it. I mean, I say it sometimes, especially like when an INTJ shadow. So,
right.
Initially, I didn't want to write this book. I didn't
want to write this book. He is so past focused. Like, he's not really talking about what he's going to do. He's constantly talking about what he's done. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be like a pessimistic NI, like a nemesis or something.
Yep.
And I think one of the main reasons for that is that this was the only true story that I could tell right now. If that makes any sense, like this was.
That's an anecdote. Only true story that I could tell.
In that
real
time,
to me, as
a lot of writing the book, I was pretty sick or emerging out of one of the worst periods of it that I've had.
from a writing standpoint, one of the most
Yeah, that's
brilliant
SI.
things about it, which I just can't believe you pulled it off, is that writing about it from a character's perspective, who is the thing with OCD is you could be talking to me and having a conversation, but at the same time you're having a totally different set of thoughts going on that are your obsessions. That would be, and there are moments in the book where that is going on, but overall that would drive the reader nuts if every single page were. But somehow you pulled it off where it was fully believable that she suffers from what she suffers from without making it unreadable.
Yeah, I mean, that was something I thought a lot about, like, to what extent do you make this a difficult, like, physically difficult book to read? And, like, I appreciate it if somebody is willing to spend 8 or 10 hours with my story.
That was an informative
and I
statement.
don't want to be mean to them. I don't want to.
That's an FE statement.
I want to try to. I mean, I desperately, for personal reasons and also for other reasons, I desperately
That
want
was
to
initiating.
find some kind of form or expression for.
That's informative.
For what it feels like to have the notion of
Form or
yourself
expression.
so undermined as if it's all built upon sand, and but at the same time, I wanted it
All
to
built
be
upon
a fun,
sand. That's an abstraction
as fun
and
a
it's
book as
informative.
you can have when it's about that.
Well, it is actually a fun book.
Fun
But
book
is there something
movement.
also that's, you mentioned this idea also when we
So, yeah.
started talking about
He's an ENTP, Jab.
if these thoughts aren't mine.
Gosh, those ENTPs are really hard for me to type sometimes. Wow.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. It was even harder. This was a really hard one because his interviewer is a starter type just like he was. So they're having a cognitive transition with each other just to survive the interview process.
Jordan Belfort,
Jordan Belfort, is that the last one?
I believe so.
Awesome. No more super chats, folks. We'll be ignoring it.
When the film The Wolf of Wall Street hit cinemas recently,
It was, yeah.
Tell me who's talking.
We just say I pitched the stock to my
He's being interviewed by a woman, so this should be pretty easy.
Okay.
to the guy hiring me, and what they don't say is a really classic line is he looked at me, he goes, "Wow, it's and then he goes, whoa, slow down, slow down." And then anybody like you goes, either one of two things are going to happen. Either you're going to end up being the biggest broker of
Yep.
Wall Street history, or you're going to end up in jail. The guy was a
Yep.
genius. He was right on both accounts. So there you go.
by 1989, Belfort was running his own investment banking firm, Stratton Oakmont, here on Long Island. It was the setting for what would become a lifestyle of extraordinary excess. Was it as excessive as we're led to believe?
Yeah, it was an over obsession of drugs, hookers.
Okay, this is a different guy.
And even played himself in the film.
He's trying to rattle.
Worthless stuff. Using. What's the message in that?
But was losing. It was all about we're going to make the clients a ton of money. We're going to make a ton of money, and the firm's going to make it. Everyone's going to succeed.
But what wasn't one of your mottos? You know, don't hang up until the client either buys or dies.
Yes.
What's the message in that?
But that doesn't mean that the client is not going to make money if he buys.
TEFI statement.
As far as 81-year-old
NESI statement.
concerned, the intention was always.
Someone is worth $20 million. I don't. I think it's a loaded question.
TFI statement.
that-
Loaded question. That's
Anyone else
a
could say
informative.
yes, except for
Anyone else could say yes. That's a TE statement.
me.
Well, what
Seems very interest.
No matter what their part in it, I still did things wrong. Okay, so
No matter how they're plotting, I still did things wrong. SINE.
That's actually a good point about the interest, because he's talked earlier when he was talking about his motivations. It was like when he tried to justify his situation, what he did, it was like, oh, win for me, win for you, win for the firm, everyone wins. Like, what's in it for me, what's in it for you? Very interest.
He's worth $20 million and loses $300,000. That's terrible, but it's not a tragedy. If someone's worth $300,000 and loses $200,000, that's a nightmare. So I do
That's
have goals on
TEFI
this. I think
completely.
it's much worse when someone doesn't have a lot of money, loses a substantial amount of money.
That's initiating.
Surely it should be. It's all.
And movement.
I believe it's all good. I believe I disagree with you.
That's
100%. These
informative.
degrees are bad.
You think there are?
That's another informative statement.
And they all started really bad. But there's really bad and then
Really bad, FI, and FI again, really bad,
Is it
horrific.
because you feel that they were wealthy and they could afford to lose some money?
Certainly so, yeah.
How do you
Certainly
feel
so.
about
NESI, and that's affiliative statement. Certainly so. All right, Jab, I think it's pretty obvious this guy is an ENFP. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean,
Classic ENFP. Classic. Straight up classic. Hey guys, I'm depraved and I have an ISTJ shadow, so I'm going to exert exact justice upon you for being rich. You can afford it. Don't worry. Jordan Belfort is an ENFP. That's it for tonight, Jab?
yeah. Thanks all for coming. I think we had a good night.
Awesome.
Woo. That's insane. Yeah. Stay tuned. We've got our next stream coming Thursday. That will be our Q&A. Are we doing a Q&A this Thursday actually?
We are doing something this Thursday. We'll have to check out the schedule for sure. It might be the conference or it might be a fictional typing stream. So.
Right. Well, I'll have my computer fixed by then, so we should be good.
Awesome. That's fantastic. All right, folks, thank you for coming. Thank you for the super chats. We really appreciate it very much. It keeps the lights on here at CSJ. And thank you all for just being an awesome audience and kind of putting up with us a little bit tonight. We had a few mishaps, but thank you very much for everything in regards to that. We very much appreciate it. So don't forget the season 21 episode 13, which is how to social engineer INFJs should have dropped by now on Patreon and will be going public tomorrow. And we have a couple of additional episodes as well.
Don't forget the Golden Pair INTJ ENTP video came out recently, so if you're on Patreon, be sure to check that out.
Yeah, the Golden Pair Romantic Compatibility episode, Season 14, Episode 7, is available for Patreon Gold members. And the conference is for Ruby members. It's something for Ruby. So anyway, thank you very much, folks. And glad to have you joining us this evening. So we'll see y'all later.
See y'all later.